Right, so this is the 2021 exam, but just like a caveat, this was for a slightly different course code because they had the coursework elements. So theoretically, there should be less coding questions in this exam, but there is actually a reasonable amount, and there's some of them a little bit tricky, not very difficult. But here we go. So this one, straight off the bat, is worth 6 marks, quite an early 6 marker. Taylor needs to be able to enter a numeric value, which is added to a total initially starts at 0. Well, hopefully you worked out we start total at 0. They even helped you out with that. Every time she enters a value, the total is output. Repeat until the total is over 100. Right, well, it's until something happens, so we do while true. We get them to enter a number. Input, enter a number. You can see a theme with all these questions. Now, this only thing is, do we add it even if it is over 100? Yeah, I think so, because that's the way it words it. So we go total equals total plus number, and if number is greater than 100, we break, and then we output the total probably, don't we? The total every time she enters a value, the total is output. Right, okay, so remember, notice that. See, it's good to read, because you could have automatically have done the afterwards. Nope, every time she enters a value, total is output. That'll be in the loop and before the break. There you go, that's that one done. Just check it's right. Right, next question. Write a pseudocode algorithm using iteration to allow Taylor to enter 10 values. Count how many values are over 50. Output the count afterwards. Right, well, this is the opposite. So we're still going to start a box at 0 because we're counting something, but we're doing something 10 times. So it's for I in range 10. Looping 10 times. And then I'm actually going to be so lazy that I'm going to copy this from here because we're getting a number again. How many are over 10? So, yeah, over 50. If num is greater than 50, count equals count plus 1. Output the count after all values 10. Okay, print. I'm going to do an F string, but it doesn't matter. You could literally just write print count. It doesn't actually say with a message, but I'm going to put with a message anyway. Number over 50. There were. Then I'm going to put count. Numbers over 50. There we go. Done. But you probably get by a print count, unless it says with an appropriate message, and then of course you wouldn't. You'd have to write something like, But even like number over 50 dash comma count would have been fine, not mum, but obviously. Here we go. That's that one done. Okay. Constants cannot change. Variables can. Make sure you put both just in case they're being annoying. So first dot length is a number of letters in it. So first is computer science. Oh my god, and it includes the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, now div is going to divide the length rounded down. So it's divide by 3 but rounded down. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 2. Okay, because 8 divided by 3 is 2 remainder 2. This does it without the remainder. And this gets, this is the power of. So 3 to the power of 3, so that'll give you 9. Okay, as exponent, as they call it in the math. But yeah, 3 to the power of 2 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. There we go. Next. I've done that one. I've printed the same one twice. So ignore that one. Brilliant. Now this is a really tough one, where they have a game on a 5x5 grid, and players take turns to place blocks on the board. The board is stored as a 2D array with the identified game grid. So this is called game grid. The function check block checks whether the square on the board has been filled. When check block 4, 2 is called, the value A is returned. So basically check block just returns the grid, but it's doing it row followed by column. Okay, so it's not X then Y, it's Y then X if you want it. So 4, 2 is this one. So that's a trick. They're doing it on purpose. If it is blank, it returns 3. So it's A, B, or 3 it returns. So check block 2, 1. I haven't got text block there. I don't know why I didn't just copy one from here, as I will. Let's do that. Shrink it. So remember, it's going to do row 2, 1. So that's going to be 2, 1. That's going to be B. I'll just go down like that. 3, 0 is going to be A, because row followed by column. And then 2, 3 is going to be 3. but with capitals. Don't forget the capitals. You might not get the mark for that. Okay, so yeah, that should be it. Just double checking. Row followed by column. Yep. 2, 3, 3, 0, 2, 1. Right, we know this is a function not procedure because it returns a value. Functions do not return outcome. They don't return anything. Procedures don't return anything. When check block minus 1.6 an error is produced, state why this function will produce an error. Well, first of all, I'm going to say it will produce a runtime error. This is not really needed for this question, but I'm just doing it for extra knowledge because it is out of the index range of the array. So basically, it's outside the array index. So there's, you're trying to access a box that doesn't exist. They're trying to access -1. And that will crash the computer with a runtime error. There you go. And how do we stop that? We could simply add a check on R and C before against the length. Actually, we can say against check R and C to ensure they are between 0 and 4 inclusive. Otherwise, return valid or something like that. Oh my god, my typing has been terrible there. Yeah, so basically we check if what they type in is between values that we accept, which in this case is 0 and 4 inclusive. That means including 0 and 4 on R and C to ensure they are both between. So if R less than 0 or R greater than 4 or C less than 0. I mean, I'm just doing the code. I don't know if you necessarily need to do this. I'm just return invalid would be something like that. And it's or's not ands because any of them fails it. Less than 0, greater than 0, less than 0. Yeah, that would be it. But I'm just writing that in case in another exam you get one that says write it. Well, there you go. I've added that. You would obviously do that first before you check gamer grid. You would do it right here. But yeah. Right, last question. Let's have a look. Apply answer selection for the next block on the game. So they're going to use that check block function. So it must allow the user to ask the position of the block on the board. Use check block function to see if the position is free. If it is, add the letter A. If it's not free, repeat until a free position is chosen. Right, so it's repeat until something. So we're going to do while true. Okay, because repeat until it's free. Ask the user of position on the board, on the block on the board. So, okay, we need R equals input enter row because we need a row and a column. C equals input enter column. Now we're going to use check block to find out what's in that. So block equals check. I'm just storing it in whatever. Check block R comma C. So we're going to send that in. And then if block is equals to 3, now we can do our stuff. So now if it's free, we found a free block. We're going to set game grid. I'm just going to check game grid to see how it works on here. Yeah, game grid is row column as well. Everything. Just want to check they haven't done something sneaky and swap these around here. Try and not trick you. No. So game grid R comma C is equal to. That's how they've done it here. Oh, with the not the bracket with the arrays, obviously. So it's a grid. Is equal to A. So we're setting the game grid to A once we've found one, and then we're going to break because we've found an appropriate thing, and then so that's it. Not for repeat. Yeah, there you go. That's it. So yeah, that's it, and that's that paper done. So we get the inputs, we use the functions, check if the block is free. If it's free, then we set it to A, and we break the loop. If we don't break the loop, it'll just keep going around and around and around in circles until we get what we wanted. Okay, cool.